Hey everybody, I wanted to talk more about home recording, um, and I'm going to touch on that. In the previous video I talked about field recorders and why I've been using them. I don't know why I'm making these videos really. I am just experimenting. I'm turning on the camera and talking about things in my life as I'm recording songs in my house. I just thought of something funny that I thought I'd talk about first before I mention the home recording stuff. And maybe people can relate to this because, in my opinion, I think people in general are all the same. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that we're all alike. We all have the same basic needs. And it's funny because when you do relate to somebody, a person gets surprised, or you sort of know that we all have the same basic needs. Everybody knows that. But the moment you're like, oh, you like bananas too? I can't believe it. I didn't know anybody else liked bananas. But it's like so great to relate to somebody. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because I thought about just writing songs, and as long as I've been working on my music and whatnot, and playing live shows and having the audience respond to it. You know, you have sometimes you when you play live, you'll have some great night, you know, where you feel like you really did something. You feel like you got your point across. And other nights, you know, you feel like maybe you're just going through the motions, or you know, it's just didn't feel like it should have, or whatever. But on those nights where you get this audience response, and you know, you get one or two people that want to come up and talk to you, and they look at you and go, man, that was really cool. You're really good, or however they say it. It's like in the same way that they're relating to you, that you know, whatever you were doing, as I sing and play, so whatever I was saying, if it was because they, you know, what I sang about or how I sang it, that point got across, they came up to say, hey man, I heard you. And it's almost like, just like in life, it's like we've all been there before. And there's something that's really special about that. Not just the music part, but relating to people. And them, it's like, it's almost in the same way that, let's say you feel hate for someone, you don't like someone for whatever reason. As I've gotten older, I may have realized something, that whatever they did, it's more than likely a part of me that feels like I've done something like that, similar. I've done that same thing, and I hate myself for it. And so that's why I don't like that person. I've taken a good look at myself in those situations, and it's a really funny thing because you can relate to anybody. You know, it's like you don't know what people are going through. Just talking to some stranger and them going, you know, I had to get up and get out of bed this morning. You go, yeah, I had to do that too. sometimes that's hard enough. Just standing, just standing up can be so hard. I know people right now are having a really hard time just doing that. But we aren't given a choice really of being here in the game. In the game, the metaphorical sense of life, you have to play the game. At some point, you have to stand up. You have to make choices. You have to choose an identity in some sense. Like I don't know. I can remember back to and I'll get through this. I just thought it was funny and interesting. Like in school, say, I don't know, first day of 6th grade, I can remember, and you have to choose the person that you're going to be, the kid you're going to be, to go mingle with all these other kids, all these other people, young adults. And so you have to pick the shirt and pants and look in the mirror and go, okay, this is me, and here I go. I'm gonna go try. And it's, for the most part, it's, you look at everybody else and go, gosh, I don't know what I am. I don't know where I fit in. Am I a skater guy, or am I don't know. There's all these different groups and things to choose and choices to be made. But in the end, we all can relate to that. And to me, that's what songwriting is. I don't know why. Well, I do know why I chose it, and I'll get into that in another video because I don't want to make this too long. But I just thought that was a funny and interesting observation. And that's what I do, I think, a lot, is observe. I don't usually talk. I've never made videos like this, and like I said, I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing. I just decided to start documenting things as much as possible, and I'm recording music at home once again, or I'm reiterating the fact that I'm recording music at home, and I'm doing it in the best way that I can. I'm not an engineer by any means, but you kind of learn as you go along. Just if it's coming across, if you can hear it, you can hear, as a singer and as a guitar player, if you can hear what's coming back to you, you're at least on to something. I can hear the voice and I can hear the guitar. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just, I've done some songs where I've, played the drums. I can play the drums a little bit, not enough to play them the way that I would like them to go, of course. None of it's the way that I want it to go. It all could be better, but that's, anyways. But getting back, so recording at home, I'm hoping that this gives other people hope in what they're doing, because it's a really fun thing to do, and there's so much self-realization in doing things like this, recording yourself and listening back. And listening back a lot, and recording a lot. It's funny because there's two sides to the coin, always. Because in one hand, I'm a big believer in saying, oh, well, I don't care what people think. Who gives a damn? I am what I am. And then there's another part of me that I have no idea what I am or what category I fit in, or what I'm supposed to be. And I do care what people think. That's a lie to say that you don't care what people think. It's a bit of both, and it seems to always be like that. It's a bit of half in and half out. And some days I don't want to stand up, but I have to. We all have to. And that's I think the overall point of what I'm getting at. And life is very much playing chess, because this was the other thing, the last thing I'll say about this. Like a comedian, or like in a conversation, you have to choose your words carefully when you're talking to someone, always, because there are certain things that you can't say. Like, it's more than offensive. It's like a comedian, for example, can get up there and they're saying the F word and this and that, and it's funny, and everything they're saying is funny. But you'll see things in media where they'll make some severe mistake because they're having a bad night, and they say something that's so off the wall that they can't take back, and it ruins their entire life. And it's kind of bizarre. It's not funny that their life is being ruined. What I mean is, it's funny that there's things you can say as human beings. We're talking, and it's like, you're saying all these different things, but it's like, oh, well, you can say this. Oh, you can't say that. Don't say that. That is not good. And it's just words coming out of your mouth. But if so you have to organize them in a way that's a presentation, that where you're presenting these words in an intelligent enough way that's respectful enough not to offend the other person. Always. Or if you are going to offend them, you're doing it on purpose, there lies the regret in it later, and there again, the half in and half out. And people who are angry and who don't relate, or pretend not to relate to you, or don't realize they don't relate to you, it might be because they're not willing to look inside of themselves and realize that they've been through so much of the same things that you have, which is so funny to me, that we've all gone through so much of the same. And that's the last I'll say about that. But home recording, I'm working on some new stuff. It's a lot of acoustic based stuff that, is like just an acoustic guitar and a vocal. Sometimes I'll throw in some harmonies. I'm just working on it, and I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do yet. I've put out quite a few videos. Some are live, some are just the recordings themselves. Some are like music video type fun stuff that I've just done around the house. Hopefully, I guess my overall goal is to maybe put some kind of album together and put it out. That's the never-ending or ever-ending story of my musical life, is putting out some album or record or whatever that I've done a million times over and never released. But I'm slowly starting to do that. Um, so to anyone listening, if you're recording at home, keep going, keep trying. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for myself. It's sort of like if you're old enough, you remember the game Mike Tyson's Punch Out on Nintendo. I'm not much of a gamer now, but when I was a little kid, I remember Nintendo, and there was that game called Mike Tyson's Punch Out. And you are the character you play is this little guy, and I think his name's Little Mac, or it's Mac, or something like, or maybe that's the trainer. I can't remember his name, but you're just this little guy, and I always felt like I liked being that little guy because you are the ultimate underdog. All the opponents you fight are enormous compared to you. You know, on the screen you can see yourself, and you're just this little guy, and from Jump Street you got to fight these giant guys, and it's like it's showing you looking up at them. And you know, at first the guy you fight first, I don't remember all their names, but you get where I'm going. The whole game, even the recording game, it's much like life. The musical game for me is much like that. You go through all of these things, and you fight all these characters, and it sounds so cheesy, but you have to stand back up every time after you get knocked down by some monster, and they keep calling you on. They do that thing in the game. The character, you know, there was one called Soda Pop. I remember that, but all of them sound the same when you're you know, in the middle of the fight. They're like, "Come on, come on." They tell you, "Come on," and you're this little tiny guy, and you're just up against the world. And that's what it is from day one. And I'm not some philosopher. I don't know exactly what I'm saying. I guess it's just to keep going. I'm telling myself, I'm telling whoever's listening, whatever you're doing, whatever your craft is, just keep going. Because I know people that are having trouble with that. And be kind, because you don't know what the next person's going through. And they all got to stand up. Everybody every day has to do a little bit of the same. A little bit of them, a part of them is a part of you. And it's something to remember. And as a person, I'm trying to be better. And that's the point. So be kind. Thank you.